I've poured my sweat and blood into this place, and to see someone else take it over, or potentially to see it get turned into a development or townhomes, would absolutely break my heart. I would be lying if I said that I'm not questioning everything that I'm doing. You know, what I don't want to do is portray this image all the time on social media that everything is perfect at my farm and that it's just like idyllic, amazing, everything is always doing well, and that's not the case. Personally, I have lots of issues. Garden-wise, there's a lot of issues right now. This is just a dose of reality if you need it. If you have been feeling this way too, I hope that this makes you feel seen, and I hope that it makes you feel like it's okay if you don't have it all together, if your garden looks like a mess, if your life looks like a mess. I am feeling so burned out. You know, I've heard a lot about this with market farmers and the peak burnout that happens like right around year 5. And it's kind of at that point where we're making money, I mean, not a ton, but you know, some, and we've got our routine down, but I just have hit this point this year of being like, I wouldn't say ambivalence so much as I would say indifference. I think it's because I've been battling a lot of this stuff for so long, and now that I'm on year 5, and it kind of feels a little bit like I haven't made that big of a difference, that it's just, I've lost the drive. So a few things have happened this year. One, on a bit of a personal note, is that I've just been dealing with quite a bit of personal burnout, and I think some of that is related to grief that I haven't fully processed. Some of you guys might know that I started the farm when my best friend passed away of suicide after dealing with postpartum depression, and so never fully processed that grief. I think I just threw myself into kind of the farm and letting the farm be my healing, which it has been, but I still think there's a lot of grief that I probably should have processed in a little bit of a different way and didn't. And then of course my sister passed away last year, and also don't think I really fully processed that either. So I kind of come from a family, of course, of one side is farmers, the other side is first generation in this country, and from both sides there, I've kind of always learned to just keep going, keep pushing through, keep working, despite whatever's going on a personal level, despite whatever's going on emotionally, that really shouldn't play into your day-to-day life, and it shouldn't affect you. And you know, not that that's, I don't blame my parents for that. They of course had their own generational stuff that they dealt with, but it definitely has impacted the way that I've processed, and I think it's kind of come to a head this year. Also in terms of just my personal life, I try to keep my personal life kind of off of social media, but dealing with a lot of burnout, just I think with something that a lot of women are dealing with, which is carrying a lot of the mental load for a long time, carrying a lot of the load with children, with house, and then of course I've kind of been in charge of all of the landscaping, all of the maintenance of the farm and our yard, and then starting up my business. Of course, then I have to be the business person, I have to be the marketer, I have to be selling the flowers, I have to be growing the flowers, and doing the social media and doing the education and all the things that being a small business person entails these days. Wrote a book that's coming out super excited to announce that. I'm going to put the link for pre-ordering down below, but that has been in the works for the last 3 years as well. And I think that just with all of that and trying to get my career up and off the ground, and yet being a woman in this society, it's been very, very wearing on me. If I'm being totally honest, this year has really reached a peak of just feeling like, you know, what am I doing? What does the future for me look like at the farm? Is this something I have the energy to continue doing? I've poured my sweat and blood into this place, but I also have to be realistic about my capacity to maintain all of this. And that's a really serious consideration that I've been doing this year. And I've dialed back quite a bit. You know, part of this is I've been going back and forth trying to tackle our home farm in Minnesota, help with getting that soil back and regenerated, and changing the processes, changing the systems there so that it's not so heavily dependent on chemical input, so that we're creating a habitat for pollinators, so that we're able to cover crops, so that hopefully we can keep that farm in our family. We talked about this back in November, my concerns with what's happening on a farm, on an agricultural scale, and I'm going to address that in its own separate video because I think it deserves its own individual video. It's what farmers are dealing with this year, what specifically regenerative farmers are dealing with this year in terms of funding being cut for regenerative projects, in terms of tariffs and the volatility in the grain market and how that is affecting farmers. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video, but all of that has also been weighing on me a lot this year as I've been trying to get that farm to stand on its feet a little bit more so that our future generations don't have to carry the burden of trying to keep it in the family and struggling with it. So it's a lot. It's been a lot. And, you know, personally, there's been lots of ramifications of all of this, you know, in a relationship standpoint, from a standpoint of being able to make sure I'm delivering on all of the things that I have promised myself I want to deliver professionally and personally and relationship wise and with my friends and with my family, and then also, you know, dealing with grief and trying to step into roles of, you know, filling the shoes of my sister and trying to fill that void for my parents, and feeling the push and the pressure to do it all and be it all. And it's been a lot this year. So yeah, I mean, with all that being said, I have really let a few things go this year, and we haven't been doing weddings this year. I have been doing U-Picks. We've been doing some markets and just trying to keep things up and going, but I've tried to dial back in an effort to try to hopefully prevent some of this burnout from taking over my drive and keeping me from being able to do this, because I know that if I burn out on this, it's going to be really hard to get back into it. I also am so grateful for my community here at the farm. We started doing community weed and greet nights, so kind of a social experiment where people want to volunteer at the farm, but I legally can't have volunteers because of federal law, because we're not a nonprofit, and actually even nonprofits can't have volunteers do things that an otherwise paid employee would do. So I can't just have volunteers come in here and weed for me, but what I can do is I can teach a workshop where I teach people how to weed, and we do, you know, some kind of an instructional thing, and then they pay me $5 and they come for the night and we hang out and we weed and we chat and we do a Q&A. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm so grateful for my community because they have really stepped up and helped me with that. We're doing that every other week, which has helped kind of just keep things at least going at the farm and help keep me from hitting that burnout level. And then, of course, just the support that we get on social media from all of you, from the community, is really, really helpful in keeping me going. But it is difficult. So I'm sure after hearing all of this, you're kind of wondering, so what does this mean? Are you shutting down the farm? Are you selling? And the answer is, I don't have the answer. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I do want to share these struggles and let you guys know that it is normal to feel burnout. It's normal to have these feelings of overwhelm, and especially at this time of year, but it's been an exceptionally difficult year, at least here for me. Back here in the woods, you can see that while some of the native plants like this Cleome Rocky Mountain bee plant I've established here are doing okay, a lot of it has just been taken over by bindweed and Canadian thistle and various weeds that just keep blowing in from our neighbors' properties and are just driving me insane. And I think that's part of the reason that I'm having so much struggle this year. So, stay tuned, guys. I'm going to show you how I'm hopefully rehabilitating this area, and then we're going to do a farm tour this week too. So don't forget to tune in for that. Let me know how you guys are doing. I want to hear all about your garden experiences this year and any struggles you might be having, because I do think it's normal and it's healthy to talk about our struggles and to share with each other. So all that being said, I hope you guys, enjoyed this video. It's a weird thing to say, but let me know what you want to see next, and we'll be posting our tour here this weekend. Don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot to me here at the farm.